really hoping I don't have to make this again because the lovely phone just rang. I want to apologize for this video being late. I'm going through a lot right now, and yesterday I wasn't able to make the video. So time to go back into it. This is Shai. I'm usually Mondays, but it's Tuesday. Yeah. So, here we go. The topic this week is tranny lovers, tranny chaser / FTM lovers. There we go. Got it. I know it's a tad dark. I apologize. Don't really have anywhere right now to record elsewhere. So if you only see like half of my face or half my face is lit up, I'll kind of just be like half good, half bad, or I don't know. So I'm gonna go into my opinion about it. It's kind of gonna have to also go into relationships and like labels defining people and everything as well, but we'll go with the flow. I'm gonna start with the people who are what my opinions in general about it is. I think in the FTM community, it's not as prevalent, that it's not as an issue. Like, there's not really people who are like, oh wait, this is a fetish, I only want to date FTMs. I do know that there are other FTMs that want to only date other FTMs, because, for certain reasons, I totally understand that. But it kind of draws a line when people make it a fetish. When they're like, oh wait, you're this, so I'm only dating you for that, not because of who you are, not because of what else makes you you, you know? So that's definitely hard. With being MTF, I think because society has made it more of a fetish, opposed to the FTM, I hate to admit this, but I think there's a good possibility that society will make it into a fetish kind of thing. But because I'm gonna have to go probably a little farther from people's comfort zones, in porn, they have a lot of, I think with the way porn has, portrayed MTFs, because where do you see transgender porn? You know, like that's an FTM. That doesn't have bottom surgery or anything. It's only more recently come into play because of Buck Angel and whatnot. So, I think because the way society has portrayed MTFs, and the way society is like, oh wait, here are MTFs, I think that's, personally for me, why I think there's more of a fetish there, and why it's more of an issue with MTFs. Opposed to with FTMs. If you look in society, if you look in the media, there's not really anything. It wasn't until the past few years that there actually has been, in the past like 10 years, that there's actually been any sort of movement of showing, hey, there's actually FTMs. Growing up, I know, is a whole nother story, but yeah, I mean, if you look into that, that's also why it makes sense of why. And then, again, with stealth and everything, I think it's also because how biological men are and how biological females are. Because usually, for MTFs, there's guys who are having the fetishes with trans women with MTFs. So, we all know how biological guys can be, so I think that's where, it kind of pisses me off and everything. Opposed to with FTM, most of the time you're dealing, not most of the time, that'd be generalizing, but when you generalize with, who goes with who with fetishes and whatnot, women aren't as much that way. There actually are women who do, but I know someone who has like an FTM fetish, but that's the opinion of the fetish and the negative side to it, I guess you could say. Because with everything in life, there's positives and negatives, especially with this subject. So, kind of to get off with that, with the fetish / negative part, there's more of an issue with that, and in general about it, there's more of an issue with it with being an MTF opposed to being an FTM. Apologize for meaning as well. So go to the next part. I do not think labels should define you. I do not think that if someone wants to date only FTMs or only date MTFs, go right ahead. Don't let someone be like, oh, well, you're straight and you can't date an FTM, or you're straight, you can't date an MTF, no matter if you're male or female. I really, really hate how people conform and stick to only what they, being gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, um, pansexual, asexual. It's like, sexuality is fluid, just like gender. Um, but it's just like, oh man. Remember that, first things first. Next is that, I'm trying to think of what I was supposed to say. Yeah, so I think it's a really big issue how people put the labels on themselves. So, if at that time you're pretty much only attracted to FTMs, and it's not a fetish and you're just attracted to them, don't be like, oh, what are other people going to think about me and stuff, because in the end, they're not going to know. They don't need to know. I know not all preteen guys, or in general, guys who, not necessarily testosterone, but natural transition as well, some guys don't look or sound masculine. They look more feminine, they sound more feminine, but at the same time, there's guys who are like that, biological guys, so, no one needs to ever know. So I think you shouldn't have to be like, well, I'm not going to go after this because, you know, what are people going to think? And, in the end, your happiness is what matters, In the end, if you're a tranny chaser, if it is your fetish, go ahead, go for it. Will I condone it if it's a fetish? No. I don't condone people who have fetishes with something that makes someone that they can't help. I mean, that's pretty much what a lot of fetishes are, but, like, there's shaved head fetishes, there's other fetishes, but, it's just like, I don't know, fetishes are a weird topic for me. But yeah, don't let someone, because they're like, if you think you're going to be happy with this person, and you think you're going to be, this is your love of your life or whatever, go right ahead. They're an MTF, an FTM, a biological male, biological female, gay, lesbian, straight, that's the biggest thing I tell people. Let's say you like a guy, and he's gay. Go for it anyways. You never know. People change. Sexuality changes. So, that's the more to that. I'm trying to think there's something else. There's gotta be something else. I always have something else. Especially with the subject. Oh, for me personally, there's another thing. There's tranny chasers within the tranny community. It's actually funny. I've noticed that there are some people who have fetishes with other FTMs or other MTFs that are an MTF or an FTM. That would be another interesting subject, but that's not what this is all about. Well, it could be about. I just don't want to borify you guys, but I think that's also an interesting thing. And I think with FDMs or MTFs or genderqueers, why they do that is because of the comfort level of judgment and stuff. I totally understand that. I totally do. Personally for me, because I'll just put this out there, I am not a tranny chaser. I am not straight. Those are like the two assumptions I get all the time. People are like, oh, you'll date an MTF, not an MTF, FTM, or you'd only, like, the biggest thing I get is people like, oh, you'd only date girls. I'm like, I didn't know that was the definition of pansexuality, that I'm straight. Apparently so. I don't like labels, but, I kind of, I'm kind of straight, but I'm kind of not. I don't feel like I could potentially be straight, and this kind of goes into the subject because I've been told I could be a tranny chaser. I've been told that by one person when I'm totally not. My level of attraction, and then I'm going to stop this video because this kind of doesn't really have to go to the subject, but I felt like saying this, is that, girls, MTFs and FTMs, / genderqueer, / genderless people who don't, basically biological females, people who are FTM, MTF, genderqueer, genderless, or, people who are like, you get the gist of that. That's pretty much what I date. Biological men is pretty much out of the picture, but I'm not, like, saying I never date a biological guy. It's kind of like, not really what I want, I guess you could say. And with MTF, FTM, and biological female, and genderless, and genderqueer, they're pretty much all kind of like in this packed in square, I guess you could say. One doesn't have power over the other. you know, I'm not, like, more attracted to. I'm truthfully attracted to personality. That's pretty much why I'm, like, no biological guys. But now you know what I'm attracted to. Now you know my opinions on tranny chasers / tranny lovers. And I will get to see you guys next week.